guys, it's Erica back on the Wow Embossing YouTube channel today with a slightly different video than usual in that there is actually not going to be any heat embossing done in this video. However, please don't go running and screaming because there will be a lot to talk about heat embossing, and something that I have only just this year discovered, despite having been a fan of heat embossing for such a long time, and that is swatches. I kid you not, I only just this year did my first ever heat embossing powder swatch. This year, yes. And that is actually how I came to fall heads over heels in love with the Ancient Jewels trio. I was not at all kind of sure about this trio because I looked at the powders and I thought that kind of looks chunky, and I do like the really sort of fine ones, but and yeah, I really wasn't sure how this is gonna work with like the color and the gold. Or I thought, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna give it a go. And using a simple tag, I just took my embossing pad, rubbed it like really, I mean, you're talking like dab, 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 and make sure that it was really covered in the ink. And then I covered it with this, and I mean, I think the results speak for themselves. That is stunning. And I went on to make so many projects with this color because it's just so gorgeous. So once I'd done that one, I had to do so many others because I was like, okay, well, what else have I been missing out on? And it turns out quite a lot, because thinking that a color looks exactly as it does in the unheated form clearly is not at all how it's going to look like once it is heated. So I went on a bit of a heating embossing swatching spree here, and I've done quite a few, and I've been very pleasantly surprised of how they look. One thing I will say though is if you're doing the glitters, is to maybe do another layer on top with some clear gloss, which I haven't done yet, and you will see that there is glitter like all over my table here. But that is something that I'm going to start doing because I really would like to keep it looking the way it should do. And I mean, this strawberry daiquiri, for instance, it is a super gorgeous color, but I've already managed to kind of scrub off some of this, some of the color. And I should also probably have heated it maybe a little bit longer, but I might redo this one and then cover it with clear and make sure that it will stay super duper perfect the whole time. Because also, I do like having my swatches up where I can actually look at them instead of like tucking them away. So I don't want them to be spreading glitter all over the place. But enough of the swatches. They are lovely, but that is not exactly what we're gonna be talking about today. So if any of you caught our very first YouTube live, time to be wowed, last Friday, you will know that Daniel and I attempted to make some cards. Daniel did actually finish one, but I did not. So we actually learned a lot from each other. So we did finish off some cards in the end, and I actually made 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I finished 6 panels, but actually turned only 5 of them into cards. So here on this one, I did not use the trick that Daniel showed me, which is to use the ink blender tool in order to get into like the little nooks and crannies. And also, this is the panel that I did do during the live, and you can see that there is just like stray powders all over the place because I had been all over it with my fingers and stuff. And also, you need to make sure that you let your ink dry when you're heat embossing on top of ink blending. So do as we say, not as we do. But on this one, we have used our favorite, which is the metallic gold rich. This one comes in a regular, ultra fine, and also like a thicker one. So it will kind of make like a really puffy look. So that, I mean, I think the gold on this just really takes this card up a notch. And this is the thing I really love about heat embossing, is that you can take a card that it's lovely as it is, and you add some heat embossing details, and it's just wow. Ha! No pun intended. But on this one, you can see I've done exactly the same thing, except I've not done the middle layer. So I've kept this quite plain to kind of make the gold stand out. And I've also heat embossed the sentiment, "You're the sweetest," in this. And it's the same gold. Really, really good stuff. So I'm probably going to need another one of these soon because I do use this a lot. So on this one here, I have used, again, the same powder, but only on the background. So I made kind of a bit of a shabby chic look by not covering the entire background with the powder, just selectively sort of drizzle it all over the place. And you can see that it's not at all perfect by any means at all, but I didn't want it to be super perfect. I just wanted a little bit of interest and texture in the background. Then the flowers are finished off with the Decadent Ruby, and you can kind of see how the red and the gold in the powder just kind of like plays off really nicely on the pink and the peachy kind of looks and the coral looks on the flowers. I think that worked out really, really well. On this one, I've used another one of the trios, and this one is Royal Emerald. And this one I did actually do during the live, but again, I forgot to use my anti-static tool, and I had been fiddling with these panels for a few days before, so they were probably covered in like my finger oils and stuff. So when you're doing the fine details, you are going to want to use an anti-static tool and directly from your pot. Don't let your powder be touched by plastic or anything like that to add in the static. So that is that one, and you can see it's just like that gold in the card die. It just kind of gives it a really decadent look. Haha. And that was another pun, I didn't even mean it, but we have Decadent Ruby and Royal Emerald. On this one here, I finished off the card with two different glitters, and one of them is the Strawberry Daiquiri, and the other one is Mai Tai. And I've also gone for yellow, or the Mai Tai on the yellow flowers, and then the Strawberry Daiquiri on the pink flowers, and also added in the middle is a bit of Mai Tai there, just to kind of make it really, really sparkly shimmery. Yeah. And on this one, which is probably my favorite, but I don't know whether that's because it's done with Halo, which is my current, like, off the charts obsession. I absolutely love this powder. It's just pure shimmer. There's no sort of like green or blue or pink undertones to it. So it just goes over whatever color you are putting it on top, and it just makes it sparkle in that color. Pure, pure magic. And I mean, look at the sentiment. You wow me. Could that be any more perfect for the Wow Embossing YouTube channel? I think not. So with that, those were the cards. So you can actually find the rest of those on the blog as well. And I will make sure I take pictures of everything with the card with the powder, so you can just kind of go and have a quick reference of which one was used for which. But something else that we need to talk about is having your embossing pad nice and juicy. And with the ink pad refill, conditioner, and freestyle tool, nice and short name, you just go over your pad and make sure that you cover it really, really nicely. And if you look really closely on my pad here, you can see that there's a little bit of pink and sort of grays here. And I have actually used this on stamps that were not clean, but by re-inking my pad, it's kind of cleaned off that stain a little bit. And I have actually noticed that even though the pad looks like pink and gray, it still leaves a nice clear stamp. So that's good to know. And so this tip that I picked up from Daniel, who learned it from Janus Makula, is super duper good. So as I said, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing stuff, you can always learn from each other. And that's one of the things that we're gonna keep doing here at WOW, for sure. So hopefully you found this very helpful, or picked up a thing or two that you might not have thought about, or maybe been tempted by one of these lovely trios. But with that, I'm all done for today. But I hope you will check out the corresponding blog post on the WOW Embossing blog post as well. I will link it down in the comments. And we will see you soon again. Thanks for today. Bye now.